Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. Hope you all are fine. I am Faiza Rizwan from APS 7 streams, Quetta, Kent. This is 7th lecture of English literature and today we will read chapter 4 from Moby Dick. Before starting our lecture, let's recall the previous chapter. It had been a week since Pequod sailed off and Ishmael got familiar to all the crew members, and Pequod had many whale boats and everything was decided by Captain Ahab regarding the adventure. Now what happened next? Let's start chapter 4 and you can find it on page 26. Before starting it, let me tell you some of the new characters which are very important, and here we have the first one, and that is Fidela. Fidela is unspecified foreigner of Oriental persuasion. Ahab has brought him on as part of the crew without telling anyone else, which is a controversial decision. He is almost unbelievably foreign in appearance, with the turban on his own hair and clothes that are almost a costume of what one might imagine a clique Chinese outfit would be. He exhibits near supernatural powers in terms of hunting and fortune telling, and his most famous prediction regarding Captain Ahab's fate comes true in an unexpected way at the end of the novel. As a result of his otherness and his predictions, the crew stays aloof from Fidela. Move to the second one, and that is Peleg. Part owner of the Pequod, Peleg is unaware that Captain Ahab is less concerned with profit than with revenge. He and Captain Bildad handle hiring the crew and negotiate Ishmael and quick salaries. Rich and in retirement, Peleg plays the generous benefactor but is in fact extremely cheap. Third one is Bildad, Peleg's partner and fellow co-owner of the Pequod. Bildad plays the role of the old salt and plays bad cop in salary negotiations. It is clear that the two have perfect in their performance as part of their sharp, ruthless approach to business, since both are Quakers, known as the time for being pacifistic and gentle. It's interesting that they are depicted as such tricky negotiators. Come to chapter 4. It was about a week after the celebration, on one particular warm and sunny afternoon, when they finally heard the familiar call that means the whale were near. Testigo yelled, "There she blows!" At the moment, Testigo from the masthead calls out that he sees a school of sperm whales off the one side away from the boat, about a mile or two off. The crew prepares for the whale boats to be lowered, and when Ishmael turns away from his mate, he sees 5 dark-skinned men assembled behind Ahab. As thought that they might be with Captain Ahab and one of the dusky band called Fidela by Ahab appears to be the Chinese or Filipino desert. He is the harpooner of an extra whale boat that Ahab takes on his own, and Ahab ordered Fidela and the crew that triggered the men also from Manila to drop their whale boat, on which Ahab will ride in search of the whales. After this, Starbuck, Stubb and Flask are be lowered into the water, and Stubb exhorts his men to row using strange and colorful language, and Starbuck remarks to him how strange it is that Ahab has smuggled these 5 men aboard the Pequod. Starbuck believes that the smuggling of the men and believes that Ahab must have a reason to want to hide these men from the rest of the crew. And it was just clear that these 5 men are on the ship. Maybe there is a contract and they are here to catch the whale. Dago allows Flash to climb on his shoulder to see into the ocean and with the hope of spotting the whales. And Tashtigo looks also for the whales as Stubb calmly smokes his pipe in the second boat. Ishmael seated on a Starbucks boat near Quick and after rowing out in pursuit of 3 whales for after a very long time, Starbuck orders Quick to get ready with his harpoon to throw at whale coming to the surface nearby. But the whale actually surfaces just under Starbuck's boat, and when it goes back under, it swams the boat with water, and the crew Starbuck's boat was about to sink. Finally, after hours have elapsed, Quick hears the Pequod throw the mints, and the crew realizes that the ship is bearing back on them. If they have survived pursuit of the whale, the Pequod nearly hits Starbuck's boat as it comes near. The Pequod takes a turn towards the island and they see a white mass in the water. The whale boats are lowered, but when the mates got closer to the white ghost, they realizes that it is only a giant squid, and it is just a real sight even for experienced whalemen. And note, it's not a Moby Dick. Ahab is disappointed and returns to the boat. Everybody was excited, and Tashtigo harpoon flew through the air and sank into the whale side. The harpoon line became tensed and the boat was pulled forward for several minutes at high speed as the whale tried to get away. Stubb threw several spears at the animal until one finally hit the creature's heart, and the whale died in the thick pool of its own red blood. It took all 4 boats and strength of 36 men to pull the whale back to the Pequod. And after return, the whale was chained to the side of the ship and the business of extracting the oil would begin very soon, very next day, and they are just thinking now to start the business. In chapter 4, that's all for today. And what happened next we will learn in chapter 5. We are having some of the difficult words over here. And first word is astonishment. It means surprise. Devour means eating greedily or eating hungrily. Thrilled means revolved. Yelled means screamed, shouted. Smashed means broken. Collapsed means fell down. Rumor means the fake news, which is not true. Whispered means spoke in low voice, muttered. Enormous means great, the big one. Giant means huge. And this is all for today's topic, and we will complete the exercises of chapter 4 in our next lecture. Till then, take care and stay home. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.